The human body is surprisingly fragile. We lack claws, we have no venom, and we do not have the speed to outrun most things on four legs. We are soft, mostly hairless apes who can get winded climbing a few flights of stairs. Yet, you can be standing perfectly still in a forest, eating a granola bar, and the local wildlife reacts with absolute terror. Birds explode out of the trees, a deer freezes with wide eyes before darting off, and a squirrel behaves as if its world is ending. It makes very little sense. These are animals equipped with lethal horns, incredible speed, and natural camouflage. Why do they suffer an existential meltdown at the mere sight of us standing on a trail? The answer has nothing to do with what we look like right now. The panic is a symptom of a deep, invisible survival code baked into the animal kingdom. To measure exactly how deep this fear goes, researchers at the University of Western Ontario ran an experiment in 2016. They wanted to record how local wildlife would react to different sounds. Instead of playing the roar of a bear or the howling of a wolf, they set up speakers in the wild and broadcast normal human conversation, just the mundane sound of people casually chatting. This chart tracks wildlife flight responses to auditory threats. Mountain lions fled human voices at over twice the rate of competing predators. This extreme outlier led researchers to classify humans as the super predator, feared far more than predators fear each other. A mountain lion kills deer for breakfast, yet it will abandon a meal because it hears someone talking about their weekend plans. To understand why a mundane sound overrides a top predator's hunting instinct, we have to look far back into human history. The fear modern animals feel was installed millions of years ago, long before agriculture. Paleolithic hominids were persistent hunters. We lacked the sprinting speed to catch a gazelle, but we jogged for hours until our target collapsed from exhaustion. If you were an animal on the plains, the sight of a bipedal silhouette moving at a relentless pace was a guarantee of death. It was a threat you could not escape. Over thousands of generations, a genetic filter took hold. Animals that ignored humans were eaten. The ones that ran away survived and passed that wariness down to their offspring. The animals running from us today are executing a DNA survival algorithm inherited directly from the trauma of their ancestors. Look at the wolves gathered around this carcass. Most natural predators operate on predictable algorithms. They hunt at dawn or dusk, or ambush near water. Humans completely break those patterns. We hunt morning and night, from the air, land, and water. We hunt in packs and alone. From an animal's perspective, we lack a predictable pattern. We are an unsolvable variable. When a brain cannot categorize a threat, the only logical response is maximum total avoidance. That avoidance is triggered before we even make a sound. We give off a potent chemical signal, a mix of synthetic detergents, soaps, and natural human sweat. When researchers leave scent strips soaked in human sweat near wildlife cameras, local animal activity drops at the exact same rate as if they had deployed strips soaked in mountain lion urine. We smell alien, we move unpredictably, and our tactics constantly shift. We are a chaotic force bypassing the ecosystem's defense mechanisms. We can prove this fear is learned by looking at isolated pockets of the world where humans have been absent for long periods. When Charles Darwin arrived in the Galapagos Islands in the 1830s, he recorded his bafflement. The birds didn't fly away. He could push iguanas off rocks and they calmly swam back. You can still see this behavior today. These marine iguanas tolerate humans standing directly beside them. Because they have no historical memory of humans, the instinct to run was never installed. The same is true in Antarctica. Penguins will confidently approach researchers and inspect their equipment. They have no survival algorithm telling them to flee. The terror we see in our local forests is not a mandatory setting of nature. It is a specific geographical response to our prolonged presence. This map tracks global mammal behavior across 6 continents, showing a stark trend. The mere presence of humans is forcing daytime wildlife into nocturnal schedules, altering the waking hours of ecosystems worldwide. Because animals hide in our presence, we walk into forests, see very little wildlife, and interpret the quiet as peaceful nature. We are blind to the fact that the ecosystem is actively hiding from us. This reaction works directly against conservation. The populations most traumatized by human contact are the ones that flee the hardest, keeping researchers out and preventing us from protecting them. Yet, this behavior is adaptable. In Rwanda and Uganda, heavily hunted mountain gorillas have been given consistent, non-threatening exposure to rangers. Over a few years, they transitioned from fleeing on sight to tolerating close human observation. We possess the creativity and adaptability to update the variables we present to the animal kingdom. If we change our behavior, the wildlife stops dedicating its energy to constant vigilance, and the landscape of fear can be dismantled.